You're in the middle of the ocean. It's night, no lights, no land, no escape. And then, out of the darkness, hundreds of enemy ships emerge on the horizon. Their sails stretch as far as you can see. You already know the math. They outnumber you 10 to 1. But then, someone on your ship pulls a lever. A bronze tube at the bow begins to hum. A deep mechanical growl fills the air. And then, fire. Not ordinary fire, liquid fire. A roaring stream of burning fluid erupts from the tube, clinging to everything it touches. Wood, rope, sail, flesh. Enemy sailors leap into the sea to escape. But the fire follows them. It burns on the water. It refuses to go out. Within minutes, entire fleets vanish beneath walls of flame. And the survivors, the ones who made it home, carried one story that would terrify the world for 700 years. Do not attack Byzantium. They have fire that cannot be extinguished. This is not a legend. This happened. And this is the story of Greek fire, the most mysterious weapon in human history, whose recipe has never been found. Before we talk about the fire, we need to talk about an empire on the edge of extinction. The 7th century AD. Byzantium, the direct heir to the Eastern Roman Empire, was bleeding out. Not from a lack of soldiers, not from bad strategy, but because the world around them had changed faster than anyone could adapt. Decades of devastating war against Persia had drained everything: gold, men, morale, and before they could catch their breath, a new power erupted from the south, the Arab caliphates. They moved with a speed the world had never witnessed. Syria, gone. Palestine, gone. Egypt, gone. Cities that had belonged to Rome for centuries vanished in a single generation. And now they had their eyes on the greatest prize of all, Constantinople, the most magnificent city on earth, protected by walls 12 meters high, a city that had never fallen in 300 years. But there was one vulnerability: the sea. Whoever controlled the straits surrounding the city could cut off every supply line. And a city that starves, no matter how high its walls, eventually falls. The Arab fleet was already moving, hundreds of ships, and Byzantium was running out of options, which is why what happened next changed the course of human history. In the middle of all this chaos, a man arrived. His name was Callinicos, a refugee from Syria, one of millions who had fled the Arab conquests. No one knows exactly who he was. Ancient sources call him an engineer, others say an architect. But what mattered wasn't his profession. It was what he was carrying, a formula, a secret he had protected for years. And when he offered that secret to Emperor Constantine IV, the emperor couldn't have known that a ragged refugee from Syria had just handed him the key to his empire's survival. The formula was about to be tested, because the Arab fleet wasn't waiting, and history wasn't giving Byzantium time to practice. (674 AD). The Arab fleet arrived. Hundreds of ships, thousands of soldiers, siege equipment, months of supplies. They didn't come to negotiate. They came to erase Byzantium from the map. The Arab commanders had done their calculations. They had the numbers, they had the logistics, and by every human measure, victory was almost certain. But they had never encountered Greek fire. As the Arab ships moved in toward the Byzantine fleet, something strange happened at the Byzantine bow. Large bronze tubes were slowly aimed outward. A deep roar built from somewhere inside the hull. Pressure rising, and then a stream of burning liquid shot across the water. Not sparks, not a thrown fireball. A river of fire, slamming into the Arab ships. Wood that had survived decades at sea burst into flames in seconds. Sails disappeared in an instant. Ropes burned before anyone could cut them. And the Arab sailors, who had never seen anything like this in their lives, broke. They jumped into the sea. But the fire followed. It floated on the surface. It burned the men trying to swim away. It refused to die. The fleet that was supposed to destroy Constantinople became a mass grave in the middle of the strait. The siege dragged on for years, but the outcome was decided that first night. Byzantium held. Constantinople survived. And across the Arab world, the survivors went home carrying the same nightmare: fire that could not be put out. Let's stop for a second, because you might be thinking, what's actually so special about this? Humans have been using fire in warfare since the beginning of time. But Greek fire wasn't just fire. What made enemies genuinely terrified, what broke experienced warriors, was one specific property. Water couldn't put it out. In fact, according to dozens of eyewitness accounts, water made it worse. Think about what that means for a sailor. Your ship is burning. You have two choices: burn on deck or jump into the sea. But the sea is burning too. There is no safe option. That's why Greek fire wasn't just a physical weapon. It was a psychological one. It destroyed hope. Eyewitnesses from multiple different civilizations wrote about it in almost identical terms. We had never seen anything like this. We did not believe it came from the human world. Some called it divine punishment. Some called it sorcery. And Byzantium, with remarkable strategic intelligence, let them believe exactly that. Because fear is the most powerful weapon ever invented. Now, we arrive at the most frustrating part of this entire story. After more than 13 centuries of research, nobody knows exactly how Greek fire was made. Not because we lack the intelligence, not because the technology is too primitive to analyze, but because Byzantium deliberately, with extreme paranoia, made sure the secret would never escape. Emperor Romanos II reportedly declared that three things must never fall into enemy hands: the imperial crown, the royal family, and Greek fire. Let that sink in. A chemical formula considered equally valuable as the emperor's own family. Modern scientists have proposed several theories about the ingredients. Naphtha, crude petroleum, was almost certainly the base. It's highly flammable and was available in the region. Sulfur may have been added to intensify the flame, resin to make it sticky, so it would cling to hulls and skin and refuse to be wiped off. Quicklime, which reacts violently with water and generates intense heat, which could explain why water made it worse. Some theories include saltpeter, a key ingredient in gunpowder. But nobody knows the proportions. And in chemistry, proportions are everything. A 1% change in composition can turn a devastating weapon into useless liquid, or worse, cause it to explode in the hands of whoever is making it. What makes this even more maddening? The Byzantines left behind plenty of records describing how Greek fire was used in battle, but almost nothing about how to make it, as though everyone involved had agreed, silently across generations, to tear that page out of history. But the formula alone wasn't the revolution. What made Greek fire truly extraordinary was the delivery system. Byzantium didn't just splash burning liquid at their enemies. They engineered a pressurized projection system, large bronze tubes mounted at the bow of warships, with pumps that forced the liquid outward in a powerful directed stream. The result? A flamethrower. In the 7th century AD, more than 1,200 years before the modern flamethrower was invented, there were also smaller portable versions, handheld devices for infantry, and clay grenades filled with the substance, hurled into enemy formations. Byzantine engineers, without electricity, without modern machinery, without industrial chemistry, built a weapons system that the modern world didn't truly surpass until the 20th century. Let that land. (717 AD), 40 years after the first siege. The Arabs came back, this time with a larger fleet, more thorough preparation, 4 decades of humiliation sharpening their resolve. And Byzantium's situation was no better than before. Constantinople was surrounded by land and sea, supply lines cut, citizens starving. The Arab commanders were convinced this time it was over. But they forgot one thing. Greek fire was still there. The Byzantine navy struck, and just like 40 years before, fire swept across the sea. Hundreds of Arab ships burned. A brutal winter storm finished off the rest. Disease and famine collapsed the land forces. After a full year of siege, the Arab army retreated, and historians today write something remarkable. If Constantinople had fallen in 717 AD, Europe might not look anything like it does today. Byzantium was the wall between 2 worlds for centuries, and Greek fire was what kept that wall standing.